Yeah. Today we are going to have a topic for discussion as conversions. Conversions of basic three-dimensional objects which are manufactured or fabricated and their representation. So where we find the importance of conversions is when we try to deal with mechanical components, fabrication of mechanical components. So what we are provided is the basic structure of the object is provided for us. Suppose it may be a casting. So this may be a casting or it may be a product which is related to some accessory or a machinery basically. So these will try to, the three-dimensional view of the object has to be provided. From that when we have to obtain any synthesis, in order to perform some kind of synthesis on this particular component, what we try to do is we try to generate the views of the object and then we try to optimize it. Optimize is with respect to its shape or with respect to its size. That means size in the sense with respect to its dimensioning, physical dimensionings of the object can be trimmed so that the object can be scaled down or scaled up. Scaled up in the sense we can try to initially represent a miniature component, say a nut or a bolt of a particular component to 3 or 4 times. This is a scalable model, okay, or a scaled up model. If we want to reduce the size, suppose we are talking about the fabrication of a wing component, aircraft wing. So we cannot generate the entire length of the wing. So what we do is we try to scale down the original dimension of the object and then we try to generate its drawings. So scalable options can be only possible when we try to go with the design, computer-aided design package as such. So the conversions are quite important when we try to obtain this particular scalable model. Okay. The initial procedure for us is being given the isometric views. The isometric view of the object or the complete three-dimensional object orientation is provided for us with respect to its physical dimension. As you can see from this figure, we have just taken an arbitrary small component in order to highlight the importance and the ease with which the views can be obtained for us. Okay. So if you see here, a basic, this is a real. So this isometric view, the three-dimensional view of this particular object has to be converted into the necessary orthographic views. Orthographic views are basically what we call them as we have to generate the front view, we have to obtain the side view, and we have to obtain the top view. So these are the three views which can be obtained. Basically for our engineering graphics purpose, we use only first angle projections. As you all know, first angle projection is basically we have the observer is looking at an object wherein the projections of the object are falling onto a plane, projection plane which is behind the object. So if you try to look at this particular cone as such, the first angle projection basically deals with we are the observer, we are looking at the object from this, and this is the object, and we have a reference plane which is like this. So the object is placed like this. So the first angle projection, the views, the projections of the object from the direction of view are going to fall on a reference plane. Okay, so this is our first angle projection. So basically we are looking from the front, the projection plane is at the back side, behind the object. The direction in which if you are trying to see from the left side, the side view of this particular object is going to fall on the right side, and similarly if you are trying to look at the object from the right side, the view is the side view is available on the left side. So this is so basically it is called the left side view or the left hand side view or the right hand side view of the object. Now coming to this particular conversion of this isometric, in this particular case we try to take a rib. So this particular rib is provided with certain dimensions here. So this is the basic rib. So here in this case, now we have taken a small rib. This particular rib is basically having three dimensions, which is length, and we have a width associated to it, and we have a height made available. So the direction of view of this particular rib is from this. So the front view of the object is here. So for this rib, there is a hole which is extruded or cut through from the front face to the back face. So the dimension, the position of this hole is also mentioned in this rib. Now if we try to see, this is the front view from which we can try to look at the object, and this is the side view. So now when we are trying to see from the right side, as we are following first angle positions, the side view of the object is falling on the behind this. So therefore we have to represent the views accordingly. We have to provide them on the drawing sheet. Now in order to first start, we draw a reference axis, which is xy, and then we draw a perpendicular line for this reference line as named as x1, y1 in order to segregate the views as front view, top view and side view. Now if you try to look from the front direction with respect to this particular object, this face, the front face is provided for the view. So this entire cross section or these edges which are forming the rib are visible. So in order to draw the front view, the dimensions that are available for the front view are the length of the object and the height of the object. So length and height are the two dimensions which are available in the front view. When we come to the top view, the length of the object and the width of the object or the thickness is available. When it comes to the side view, the width of the object and the height of the object are the dimensions. So these three dimensions, that is your length, width and height pertaining to the object, have to be known for us. So from the provided data here, if we try to evaluate the dimensions of it, as we know also as the dimensioning has to be made parallel to the reference edges, because this is isometric view. So we know that this particular casting is provided on a 30-degree inclination line, or because the angle between any two edges is 120 degrees in a isometric view as such. So the dimension has to be made parallel to this, because it is a vertical dimension. So the vertical dimension is like this, and the horizontal dimensions with respect to the horizontal edges are parallel to it, which are mentioned here. Now the total length is 50. Okay, so we require the length dimension 50, and the height of the object is 45. Total height is 45. Now we can see that there is a cross section. This is an inclined rib. Okay. So there the height corresponding to this is 30 from the base. So we try to see, first construct a 50 mm length line using your scale. So all these things have to be made with measurement from this. Then we mark the height as 45 mm on towards the left side, because we are looking at this in this direction, and towards the left the height is 45, and the length available towards the right side is 30 as visible from this. So this is the complete view of the object in the front direction. Now we have to locate the position of the hole. This particular hole is standing from the left edge from the left edge of the casting, it is measured as 30. Let's see, this is 30. This is 30. And the height at which it is standing is 20. This is 20. So this height from the left side we measure a length of 30, and then from this point we try to mark the length of height of 20, and then we look at the center point of this particular hole where it has to be drilled. Now the dimension or the diameter of this particular hole is provided as 20. That means a radius of 10 mm has to be taken, as we are aware that all dimensions are similar. Just try to it is the same length. So mark a length of 10 with the help of a compass, 10 mm, and then with the located center point, we try to draw the circle. So circle has to be drawn. Like this. Now once we have this, we can allocate the respective dimension of this 5 mm. Now this is the complete view of the object in the front. Now when we try to look at the object from the top, we can see this particular face. Okay. So this face is falling, or this is coinciding with this base. Here you can see this B is falling upon B. This is your B, face B, and this is represented in the dotted one because it is lying on the base. So this face is going to overlap with this, and the hole, concentric hole that is available from this face to the backside face is not visible at the top, but its projections are available because there is no material. So what we do is we try to draw the projectors and we try to extend them along the surface. The surface is along the width. Okay. So we try to draw the projectors from the front view. So we can capture the same length of the object, which is 50. Now the width or thickness of the object is 25 mm. So measure a length of 25 mm from respective edges, and draw the so this is the 25. If you see this, same thickness can be incorporated here. Now we have to obtain the projections of the concentric hole. So from the front view, we already have represented the concentric hole at a distance of 30, 20. Now we have to just draw projectors from this and extend it to the top view such that the relative position of the hole are visible. So you can see that these should be construction lines which should be drawn with BH pencil. All the visible edges should be drawn with HB pencil, that is mandated. Okay, all the projection lines should be with 3H. Now, once we identify the location of the concentric hole from the top view, because they are not visible in the top, they are represented as hidden lines. So these hidden lines are basically the hidden lines are of the hole, the hole that is hidden. Now once we obtain, we can try to see whether some other features are available, but other than this face and the position of this particular hole, no other corners or no other features, special features are available from the casting. So this is our top view. Now, in order to construct the side view, as we have initially drawn another reference line x1 y1 perpendicular to the reference line xy. What we do is we try to draw projectors from the side view, top view, and we try to extend it up to this particular axis and use the radius method. We try to draw arcs. So this has with the intersection point as center and this as the length, because this is intersecting here. Now we try to draw an arc. Where this intersection point is slightly. This was a freehand draw. We have drawn this. So we have just obtained the extents of the width, because the dimension that is available for our side view is width. So the width of the casting or the drawing from the top view is directly transferred onto the reference plane. And then from the front view, we draw the projectors, horizontal projectors. We can try to directly, where the point of intersection of these projectors will give the extents of the casting in the side view. So now, when you are trying to look from the object from the side view, this is the direction of view. So this particular face is what is visible for us. So this face A, as you mentioned here, is visible, which is overlapping with this face. So we try to, in order to not to disturb this, we have taken one more sketch here. If we try to just extend it with the dotted line, we can see, we can try to generate the face which is falling on the back side of this. So this face A and A are the front and backward faces of the casting. Now the height is, this particular height is total, this is 30, from here to here this is 30 and this is 45. So we are trying to look from here. So this entire length is available for us. This entire height, not length, this entire height is visible for us. But here, this 30, which is trying to exactly coincide with this,